Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I'm once again answering some of your questions, like what do I think is the best sports watch under $1,000? Now, of course, before we get into it, we're going to do the customary reverse watch check. Today, I'm wearing my Panerai Radiomir Black Seal. Haven't worn it in a very long time, but this is actually the first. So the first watch I fell in love with was the Breguet Classique, but that was way out of my price range. This watch was the second watch I ever fell in love with, and at about a quarter of the price, I ended picking it up. And also, guys, don't forget to check out DelReyWatch.com. A bunch of super cool pieces came in, including the very rare and in-demand Otsuka Low-Tech Jump Hour 7.5, one of the hottest Japanese independent watchmakers of all time. I believe there are only two of these for sale in the US. And can you guess which one is the cheapest? That's right, ours. Next, we have another modern icon, the Moser Pioneer with the red fume dial. Box, papers, high horology sports watch for a fraction of its competitors. And of course, cheapest one in the country. We also got in the very rare A. Lange & Söhne Saxonia with the blue copper flake dial. What an absolutely beautiful and clean white gold dress watch. Super rare to find this dial, and I'm very proud to have it on Del Rey Watch. All that and way more at DelReyWatch.com, the best place for a watch geek to buy a watch. Link in the description below. Anyway, guys, you know the spiel. These are the questions you ask me on my Instagram account at Federico Talks Watches. Few times a month, a Q&A picture pops up. When you see that, feel free to ask your questions. When I get enough questions, I take the picture down, and we're going to start in no particular order with Joseph Lozano. And he said, "Hey Fed, with microbrands popping up all over the place, do you see them as a healthy sign in the market or just a reaction to exorbitantly high prices, even for entry-level watches?" Jeff, this is a fantastic question, and I think you kind of nailed it, because in my opinion, the truth is in the middle. Yes, I think the entry level of established luxury watchmaking has gotten way too expensive. I mean, Longines and Baume & Mercier, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, Tudor, $4,000 to $5,000, Rolex, all pretty much in the five figures. It's just a very, very big leap to where we were just a few years ago. And I think the microbrands make it more accessible. So I definitely agree with that point. But I also think it is a sign of a healthy market, because the interest in watchmaking has never been this high, at least as far as I've been alive. Never been this high. So I think, yes, it is a response to the ridiculous entry-level pricing, but it's also a response to people want more watches. More people are interested in watches, and they want more options. So as much as it might be considered a cop-out to say the truth is somewhere in between, I genuinely do believe that. DJ Bear, I want to get a good bronze watch. Any suggestions? I was thinking of a Tudor Black Bay. So, DJ, I'm going to start by saying it's well known I'm not a huge bronze guy. I think the ultimate bronze watch is the Panerai Bronzo, but that is a very different price point than the Black Bay. I think the Black Bay is a good choice because it's a tough watch. I think it looks particularly ugly when it patinas, but that's a personal opinion. It's a good movement, it's a Tudor, and they're actually selling quite inexpensively pre-owned, because a lot of people agree with me, they don't like bronze. However, as an alternative, I would go with the Oris Pointer Date in bronze. A cleaner, more neo-vintage look. They use a bronze alloy that patinas a little bit less. It's also not quite as a robust a watch as the dive watch Tudor. This is more of kind of like a field watch, but it should be even less expensive than the Tudor, and just overall a great option. But the Tudor is actually a very good choice. Stephen Leslie, Hey Fed, what is your opinion on Bulgari as a brand overall? What do you think of their current lineup? Steven, this is interesting because personally, I don't like the Bulgari watches. They don't speak to me at all. But it doesn't mean I can't be objective and say, I think they're absolutely killing it. Bulgari was almost non-existent 10 years ago as a watchmaker. I mean, their aluminum diagonals were selling for like $500. They revitalized the brand with the Octo line. And while I don't like the Octo line, a lot of people do. And they disagree with me. Now, apart from the fact that the design has captivated people, the watchmaking is excellent. New in-house movements, ultra-thin movements, chronograph movements, tourbillons. Bulgari has put a ton of money into their watchmaking program, and you can tell. I can't think of a brand that's been this revitalized this quickly in the history of watchmaking. So, as I said, I think they make a fantastic product, it's just not for me. Time never wasted. What do you think of Neo Vintage Roger Dubuis? Their much more series looks interesting, but I can't find any to try on. I love Neo Vintage Roger Dubuis. I've said this a lot in this episode. I don't necessarily like the much more, but that's just an opinion. Neo Vintage Roger Dubuis is killer watchmaking for a fraction of the price. Unless you go really old, like their Homage and Sympathy collections, those prices have skyrocketed, but their larger, sportier stuff hasn't yet and can be had really inexpensively. You get a ton of bang for the buck for it. Now, unfortunately, I can almost guarantee you're never going to be able to try one on because they were made in very limited batches. Less than 1,000 watches a year in total for many years. There's very few of these around, so to be able to try one on is going to be, unfortunately, very difficult. But Neo Vintage Roger Dubuis gets 2 thumbs up from me. Gunnar Mo. Hey Fed, what are dealer margins on a brand like Tudor pre-owned? Well, Gunnar, Tudor is overall a pretty low margin brand, especially if we go with the high volume pieces like the Black Bays. I would say at Delray on the sports Tudor, the average gross margin is under 20%. I would say it's 15 to 17%. Because once again, they sell very quickly, so we don't mind having a smaller margin. And if someone wants a discount, we don't have to offer it because, as I said, it sells very quickly anyway. But I would say 15 to 17% on the sporty pieces. Then last but not least, JM Asaf. What's the best summer watch for around 1K? Well, when you say summer watch, I'm going to assume you mean sports watch or dive watch. Now, the $1,000 price point is very interesting because you have a lot of choices, way too many, but not choices that necessarily speak to me. I would either go a little bit higher up and get like an older Seamaster or a Tudor, or I would go a little further down and say, just get a Seiko, like a Seiko Turtle. I think Seiko make fantastic watches. Even this dive watch here, which retails pre-owned for about $700, is a fantastic piece of horology. Now, while the Tuna doesn't necessarily fit me the best, I think it's a fantastic option. Honestly, if I were you, I'd save a couple of bucks and go with a Seiko. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Really does help. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.